Welcome to The Sleepy Historian, where history drifts gently into dreams. Tonight we travel back to a world of wooden huts, creaking joints, and communal everything. You're not a knight or a noble. You're not even a merchant with a decent pair of shoes. You're just you, waking up in the mud-scented dawn of 1325, somewhere in medieval Europe, and already regretting it. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Let me know in the comments where you're tuning in from and what time it is for you. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum. And let's ease into tonight's journey together. You open your eyes to the heavy scent of wool and wood smoke. Your head rests on a straw-stuffed sack that has long since given up any ambition of comfort. A rat squeaks somewhere in the thatch above you. You're not entirely sure if it's morning yet, but someone outside is already shouting about eggs. Welcome to life in the Middle Ages. Your home is a single-room hut. There is no insulation, no privacy, and no concept of personal space. The family sleeps together on the floor or on mats if you're lucky, sharing body heat with siblings. And the parent, maybe an uncle, and at least 3 unidentified insects. You'd shift to stretch, but one of your legs is pinned under your younger brother, who dreams with his mouth open. Your other leg has lost feeling. You decide to lie still. The mattress beneath you is made of straw and old rushes, which is just medieval for kindling. It smells like goat and mildew and possibly something worse. You scratch your scalp and find a flea. Not surprising. Everyone has them. Even the local lord's daughter was spotted picking one out of her hair during mass last week. Outside, the air is cold. It's the kind of cold that creeps in through the walls, through the roof, and especially through the open spaces around your door. Doors here don't latch properly. Wind whistles through the cracks. And in the winter, snow simply strolls in like it owns the place. But it's not snowing now. It's just damp. The thatch above you drips rhythmically onto your forehead. You close your eyes and pretend it's part of a gentle forest stream that helps a little. Eventually, someone shifts beside you. Maybe it's your father. Maybe it's your older sister who talks in her sleep. Someone farts. Definitely your father. This is your alarm clock. You rise. Slowly. Your joints ache like you're 80. You're 23. Congratulations. You've reached middle age. The floor is dirt. Not decorative. Just dirt. In the rainy months, it becomes mud. In the dry months, it becomes a dust bowl. And in between, it's a delightful hybrid of slipperiness and grime. You tiptoe past the sleeping form of your youngest sibling and try not to step in the ash from last night's fire. The hearth in the center of the room is cold now, a pile of gray dust and half-burned sticks. You nudge it with your toe and regret it instantly. Your toe now has a streak of soot that will never leave. You shuffle to the corner where the chamber pot lives. Yes, chamber pot. You're not leaving the house just yet. You do what must be done, then set it carefully aside for someone else to deal with. Perhaps your brother. He owes you for last week's prank involving turnip stew and a very unfortunate frog. There's no mirror, but if there were, it would not be kind. Your face is lined with sleep and possibly soot. Your hair is matted. Your eyes are crusty. But it doesn't matter. No one expects you to look good, just alive. And that's already a win. The chickens are already awake. You hear them clucking just outside the door, likely stepping through puddles and pecking at nothing. If you're lucky, they laid eggs. If you're unlucky, one of them wandered off again. And you'll be chasing it halfway to the next village by noon. You open the door, a heavy wooden plank that creaks like it's complaining. Outside, the village is stirring. Thin smoke rises from nearby huts. A dog barks. A baby wails. You step onto the muddy path and inhale deeply. The air is thick with damp earth, burning straw, and the faint tang of human waste. It's good to be home. A neighbor nods at you as he carries a bundle of firewood. You nod back. 'Cause that's polite. Neither of you speaks. Words are precious this early, especially before pottage. Back inside, your mother is stoking the fire. Sparks leap from the hearth. She ladles something from a pot that's been cooking for days. The stew is made from barley, turnips, maybe a bit of cabbage, and dreams. The dreams are overcooked. You take your bowl and sit by the fire, careful not to spill. It's hot. It's sour. You eat it anyway. Your sister offers you a crust of bread that could serve as a weapon in wartime. You dip it in the stew to soften it. It doesn't. You chew slowly and try not to crack a tooth. The sun rises. You can see it now through the crack in the roof. which also functions as your chimney. The light filters in, catching the dancing dust motes and highlighting the cobwebs in the corner. You should clean them. You won't. This is the start of your day. Your body still aches. Your belly is sort of full. Your socks are wet again. And you haven't even left the house. You scratch your side and wonder if that's a new rash or just an old friend returning. Outside, the village calls. Fields to hoe, goats to feed, neighbors to avoid. But first, you take one more moment, one last breath of smoky warmth. And then you step back into the mud. The cold hits you properly once you're outside. It's not the dramatic kind with howling winds or sudden snowstorms. It's the slow kind, creeping, quiet, and cruel. The kind that seeps into your bones before you can think to stop it. You wrap your arms around yourself. Not that it helps. Your tunic is wool, but it's thin and damp. You wore it yesterday, and the day before, it's not so much clothing now as a companion. The village path is mud, not just slippery mud, but sticky, ankle-hugging, shoe-eating sludge. You take small, careful steps, trying to keep the worst of it from squelching up into your toes. It doesn't work. You feel the cold seep between your toes like an insult. You pass the neighbor's pigsty. The pigs are already snorting and rolling. One of them eyes you like it knows something you don't. Which, to be fair, it probably does. Pigs are smarter than most villagers. Except perhaps the cooper's son, who once tried to catch a goose with a bell. You still don't know why. Your destination lies just behind the vegetable patch, past the lean-to, past the chicken yard. You're not going for a stroll. No one in medieval times walks just to enjoy the breeze. You walk with purpose. And today's purpose is grim. You need to relieve yourself. Yes, you already used the chamber pot earlier, but let's be honest. That was a quick fix. Nature calls again, more insistently this time. And this isn't a society with proper plumbing or even casual modesty. What you're about to experience is less bathroom visit and more outdoor performance. You round the corner behind the shed and find the bucket. It's an old wine barrel, sawed in half and stained with years of indignity. There's a small screen of woven reeds meant for privacy. It provides none. A chicken watches you with judgment. You do what you must, trying not to breathe too deeply. The smell is a combination of earth, rot, and fermented cabbage. You finish quickly, but now comes the fun part. Disposal. In a town with no sewers, you get creative. You take the sloshing contents of the knight's chamber pot and dump it into the street. Yes, the street. It's common practice. You're supposed to shout something first, maybe mind the pot or watch out below, but you mumble it instead. Half out of laziness, half out of revenge. The contents splash onto the already foul lane. It joins a river of similar offerings from your neighbors. A slurry of waste, kitchen scraps, and possibly last week's goat. It oozes slowly toward the main road, where it will mingle with other streams and eventually pool outside the church. The priest hates that. You step back and breathe through your mouth. The smell is still there. It lingers in your nostrils like a curse. But there's no time for regrets. You return the chamber pot to its corner, wipe your hands on your tunic, and pretend none of it happened. If you're in a slightly better off town, you might get to use a communal latrine. These are long benches with holes set above shallow trenches of water. Social, open, and horrifying. People sit side by side, chatting about taxes or gossip while doing their business. There's no privacy, no partitions, just a row of squatting villagers, and the sound of someone humming while trying to force out last night's turnip. If you're lucky enough to live near a castle, you might get to use a garderobe. It's a little stone room jutting out over the moat. You sit on a stone slab with a hole in it, and whatever you leave behind drops into the water below. Sometimes the moat isn't even water. Sometimes it's a stew of rains, waste, and the occasional invader who made a very poor tactical decision. But the real horror is what comes after. Toilet paper has not been invented. You look around for something soft, something gentle. Instead, you reach for the straw, coarse, dry, slightly damp at the ends. You wince, but you wipe, because the alternative is worse. Other options include moss, leaves, or a square of linen if you're feeling fancy. If you're very fancy, you have a personal rag that gets washed and reused. If you're nobility, you might have cloth scraps or even imported wool. But you're not nobility. You're a peasant. And your rear end knows it. You finish your task and stand carefully, trying to avoid stepping on your own foot in the process. The ground is slippery. One misstep, and you could find yourself face down in something you'll never speak of again. You walk back toward the house, feeling slightly hollow, but at least lighter. A neighbor waves at you from their doorway. You wave back, pretending your morning didn't involve a barrel and an existential crisis. If you were in a medieval city, things wouldn't be much better. Cities are crowded, noisy, and overflowing with people who all have to go somewhere. Literally, the streets are slick with waste. Sometimes gutters are built to carry it away. Sometimes not. In London, people shout Gardaloo before tossing their buckets out the window. Historians still argue whether this was common practice or just a convenient excuse. Either way, you walk fast and hug the walls. Bathhouses do exist in some places. Communal, warm, and sort of cleansing, but they're also expensive, crowded, and carry a reputation for more than just bathing. The church eventually cracks down on them. Too much mixing, too much flesh, too much conversation. So for now, your best hope is not stepping in something warm and mysterious on your way to fetch water. You pass a cart full of onions. The driver sneezes twice and spits right into the road. You sigh, then keep walking. Your feet are already dirty. Your hands are dry and cracked. And you haven't even started your real work yet. That's coming soon. You're back inside now, and your stomach is beginning to make small, desperate complaints. The kind of sound that says, please, anything, even turnips. Especially turnips. You glance toward the hearth, where a pot is simmering with the same slow resignation as your will to live. Breakfast, if you can call it that, is ready. It's pottage again. Pottage is not a meal. It's an ongoing situation. A bubbling mixture of barley, root vegetables, and whatever could be foraged or bartered this week. It lives in the pot. Always. It never starts or ends. Ingredients are added as they arrive. Nothing is removed. The flavor is layered, aged, possibly sentient. Your mother ladles out a scoop for you. It glops into a wooden bowl with a sound that suggests it's not excited to be awake either. You take a spoon carved by your grandfather's cousin during a particularly slow winter and sit down on the bench near the fire. The spoon is chipped. The bench leans to one side, but this is your breakfast spot. It is known. It is solid. It wobbles just enough to remind you to stay alert. The pottage is hot, too hot. You burn your tongue every morning, without fail. You'd think you'd learn. You never do. You blow on the next bite, then take it carefully. It tastes like boiled history. Mostly onion, possibly cabbage, and something faintly smoky that might be meat or might be regret. On the table sits the bread. It is hard. It is dark. It was baked 3 days ago, possibly 7. You knock on it to test for life. It thuds back. That's good. You tear off a piece, which takes considerable effort, and dip it in the pottage to soften it. It doesn't. You chew anyway. Your jaw protests. Your teeth reconsider their commitment to this lifestyle. There is no butter. Butter is rare, saved for feast days, and your village is not feeling festive. There might be a smear of lard if someone got lucky hunting, but luck has not visited your home recently. Still, you eat, because food is not a luxury here. It's a necessity, barely earned and quickly gone. You eat quietly, watching steam rise from the bowl. Your younger siblings are already done, scraping the sides of their bowls with a determination you find both admirable and concerning. One of them picks something out of their portion and asks if it's a beetle. Your mother shrugs. Extra protein. On better days, the pottage includes beans, leeks, even herbs, but not today. Today is a thin day. You don't ask for seconds. Not because you're full, but because there aren't any. You sip ale, weak, watery ale. It's not for fun. It's because the water is worse. The ale is flat, vaguely sour, and lukewarm, but it's been boiled. It won't kill you, probably. Children drink it too, not because it's safe, but because it's safer. Historians still debate just how common ale was at breakfast. Some argue it was everywhere, even among the very poor. Others suggest water from certain wells was clean enough to use. But in your village, the stream doubles as a laundry tub and a sheep crossing. You drink the ale. Occasionally, if you are very lucky, breakfast includes a piece of dried fruit, a fig, perhaps a slice of apple. But these are rare treasures. Today, you chew your bread and accept your fate. You remember once having a bit of cheese? A guest brought it. It was sharp, creamy, and gone in 2 bites. You've dreamed of it since cheese is made in your village, but most of it is sold or traded. What remains is eaten by the shepherd's family. He has more sheep. You have more turnips. He wins. Some families keep hens. Eggs, then, might be a possibility. But hens are unpredictable, moody creatures. They lay when they feel like it. And they rarely feel like it in the dead of winter. When they do lay, the eggs are either hoarded for baking or stolen by children faster than adults can claim them. You finish your bowl and wipe it with your crust of bread. That's the cleaning process. No soap, just scraping. The wooden bowl returns to its place on the shelf. You will use it again at midday. You stretch carefully. Your back is already tight. You haven't done any real labor yet, but your body remembers what's coming. Your shoulders creak like old timber. Your neck pops. Your knees ask politely for reconsideration. You ignore them all. Breakfast is over. The fire is fading. Your father is already outside. He moves like a man who's been awake since before dawn and wishes he wasn't. He doesn't say much in the mornings, just grunts and gestures. You understand him anyway. You step outside again into the same cold, the same damp air, the same uncooperative weather. The mist hangs low today, curling around the trees at the edge of the village like it's trying to hide something. You breathe it in. It tastes like smoke and wet straw. Your boots are tied with scraps of leather. They're more holes than shoe. Your toes poke out like curious hedgehogs. You wriggle them. They complain. You sigh. A rooster crows. Late? It's always late? You glare at it as you pass. It struts away, smug and oblivious. You have energy now. Not much, just enough. Breakfast has filled a space in your belly. Not completely, but enough to carry you into the day. You grab your hoe, resting against the side of the house, and head toward the fields. Your stomach is no longer empty. The field greets you like an old friend who owes you money and never pays it back. Stretching out beyond the edge of your village, it is a patchwork of browns and grays. No lush green this season, just clumps of mud, frost-kissed soil, and the occasional suspicious pile that suggests something larger than a rabbit passed through last night. You carry your hoe across your shoulder. It's not sharp. It's not even straight. The handle has been worn down by generations of calloused hands. Yours are starting to look like those too. Splintered, rough, always a little dirty, even after washing. And your grip knows this tool, like it knows the shape of your bowl or the curve of your spine. You reach the small family plot. Rows of root vegetables stretch before you, sleeping in the earth. Today's job is weeding. Tomorrow's is digging. The day after, something else will demand to be done. Always something. Always the field calling. You start slowly, kneeling at the edge of the row. You sink your fingers into the dirt. It's cold, clumps together, sticks to your skin like wet flour. You pull a weed, another. The rhythm begins. Your back bends. Your knees creak. Your breath puffs out like smoke in the morning air. Weeding is simple, meditative, almost, but not peaceful, because each tug of green reminds you how little this land gives and how much it takes. You think of your mother once saying, "The soil remembers." You're not sure what she meant, but you hope it forgets the way your hands tremble when the frost bites through your gloves. Across the field, your father swings a scythe with slow determination. His movements are steady, measured. He doesn't waste energy. He's done this for years, since before you were born. He once told you he could measure a harvest by the smell of the wind. You never figured out if that was a joke or a genuine skill. He never explained. Behind you, your younger brother chases the chicken back toward its pen. The chicken is winning. Your brother shouts something about it being cursed. You don't look up. You smile, though hours pass. The sun rises higher. It doesn't get warmer. The wind picks up slightly. You feel it sneak past your collar, down your spine. Your nose starts to run. You wipe it with your sleeve. No handkerchiefs here, just layers of wool and an acceptance of minor indignities. By midday, your stomach grumbles again, but you keep working. Because that's what you do. That's what everyone does. If you stop, the work waits for you. It does not disappear. It does not forgive. You take a break only when your legs threaten rebellion. Sitting on an overturned bucket, you stretch your back. You stare at your hands. Dirt under the nails, skin cracked at the knuckles, a fresh blister on your thumb. You press it gently. It hisses at you. You drink from a wooden flask, warm ale, flat and bitter, but it goes down easily. Water is for boiling or for praying over. You can't trust it raw. You chew a bit of dried apple you tucked into your belt this morning. It's leathery, sweet in a quiet way, like it remembers it used to be fresh. Next to you, a beetle crawls across your boot. You flick it off gently. You've made peace with most bugs. Except fleas. Fleas remain your sworn enemies. The wind shifts, bringing the scent of the tanner's hut. Acrid, sharp. You wrinkle your nose. There's always something. If it's not the tanner, it's the pigsty. If not the pigs, then the communal fire pit where someone always burns the stew. Smoke follows you here like a hungry spirit. You return to work, hu and hunt, spine hunched. The earth doesn't wait. It never has. You remember stories of faraway places, lands where the soil is rich, soft, and doesn't fight back. Places where grapes grow like weeds and olives drip from trees. You've never seen an olive tree. You've never seen a tree taller than the chapel steeple. Historians still argue whether medieval peasants ever truly rested. Some say feast days offered real pauses. Others claim there was always something to do, always a neighbor in need, always a roof to patch or a fence to mend. Your experience leans toward the latter. The sun begins its slow descent. Your shadow stretches long across the furrows. Birds call in the distance. The same three notes over and over, like they're mocking your routine. You finish the last row, you stand slowly. Your back protests, your legs wobble. You feel old, you are young. Doesn't matter. The field doesn't care. You walk back toward the village. The path is familiar, worn. You could follow it with your eyes closed. You nearly do. As you pass the neighbor's house, someone offers a nod. You nod back. That's enough. Words are rare after a long day. At home, your mother's stirring the pot again. Still pottage. Maybe thicker now. Maybe not. You don't ask. You sit. Your hands rest on the table. Your shoulders sag. You don't speak. Your family doesn't either. Not because you're unhappy, but because silence is soft. And today, you are tired. Outside, the chickens settle. The sky blushes with evening, and your fingers still smell like soil after a full day of working the fields. Your body protests in places you didn't know could ache. Your arms are sore. Your legs feel like they belong to someone older. Much older. Maybe a knight who fell off a horse 10 years ago and never quite recovered. You sit down on the wooden bench near the hearth and exhale. The fire flickers, casting long shadows on the wall. You stretch your jaw once, twice. Something clicks. Probably normal. Your younger sister hands you a bowl of the evening's meal. It looks suspiciously like this morning's meal. And yesterday's pottage again. This time it's thicker. Maybe someone found a carrot. Maybe it's just the same carrot floating in different parts of the pot. You take a bite. It's hot, bland, and oddly comforting. Like eating a warm sigh, you reach for your piece of bread. It is slightly less hard than this morning. That's because it has absorbed some of the steam from the pot. You chew slowly. Carefully, one false move and you'll crack a tooth. Which brings you to your teeth. You press your tongues against one of your back molars. It wobbles. That's new. Not good, but not surprising. You don't brush. You don't floss. You rinse occasionally with salt water or chew a minty twig when someone brings one from the forest. But mostly, your teeth are on their own. There's a faint ache in your jaw. A dull throbbing that's been growing for days. You know what it means? Another tooth is dying. Soon it will rot, then swell. Then scream. You've seen it happen to others. Their faces puff up like swollen apples. They moan. They drool. Sometimes they stop eating. Eventually, they go to the tooth puller. You've never been. You've heard stories. Some say the man is part barber, part blacksmith. Others say he uses pliers made from bones. All agree it hurts. No pain relief. No comfort. Just a sharp tug and the sound of something important snapping. One boy passed out. Another threw up. A few simply screamed until their voices gave out. Historians still debate how common professional tooth pullers were in small villages. Some say they only existed in larger towns. Others argue every region had at least one person with a steady hand and a disturbing interest in mouths. You'd rather not find out firsthand. For now, you chew on the other side. You sip more ale, warm and bitter, but it washes the bread down. That's all you ask of it. Your older cousin once tried to fix a tooth with a heated knife. Said the pain would kill the root. It killed his appetite instead. He didn't speak for 3 days. Eventually, the tooth fell out. So did 2 more. He smiles less now. Some people say garlic helps. Or onions. Or rubbing your gums with honey mixed with ash. You tried that once. It tasted like disappointment. There are also charms, whispered words, tiny bundles of herbs tied with string. You bury them under the doorstep or wear them around your neck. One woman in the village swears by beetle powder. Another chews bark and mutters old prayers. You try not to think about it. You finish your meal. Set the bowl aside. Your sister sits beside you, threading her fingers through her long braid. She hums softly. The fire pops. Somewhere outside, an owl hoots. You close your eyes for a moment. You imagine what it would be like to eat soft food every day. Creams, porridge without lumps, cheese that melts instead of crumbles, bread that tears without effort. You open your eyes again. Your mother is wiping the table with a rag that used to be a tunic. Your father sharpens a knife with slow strokes. The blade hisses against the wet stone. Your youngest brother snores softly in the corner. He's already fallen asleep, curled up like a cat. You rub your jaw one more time. The ache is there, waiting, patient. You stand and stretch. The room tilts slightly. You blink until it settles. You walk outside into the night. The cold wraps around you instantly. You pull your tunic tighter. Your breath clouds in the air. You walk toward the well, bucket in hand. Time to fetch water for the night. You walk carefully. The ground is uneven and slippery. The well creaks as you lower the rope. The bucket splashes. You draw it back up, heavy and cold. You set it down, wipe your hands in your trousers. You glance up at the sky. Stars glimmer. The moon hangs low. A quiet hush blankets everything. You can hear the wind moving through the trees. You feel the world breathing. You walk back slowly. The bucket swings. Your feet crunch against the frost-covered grass. Inside, the fire is burned low. Your mother pours a little water into a clay jug. Your father nods at you once. You nod back. No words. You sit by the hearth again. The heat barely reaches you. You hold your hands out anyway. Your fingers tingle. The ache in your tooth returns. Deeper now, more insistent. You close your eyes and lean your head against. Morning comes, whether you want it or not. You wake to the sound of your father shoving open the door with his shoulder. The wind rushes in with him, cold and sharp, carrying the smell of damp earth and wood smoke. You sit up slowly. Your neck aches from the way you slept. Your hip hurts from the lump in the floor. You rub your face and realize there's straw in your hair. Again, no time to dwell. The day is waiting. Breakfast is fast. Pottage again. Thinner this morning. Someone must have watered it down to stretch it further. You eat without thinking. Your tooth still hurts, but you chew carefully. Slowly, you're learning. Your father hands you a yoke with 2 buckets. The wood rests heavy across your shoulders. You nod. This is your job today, fetching water. Then hauling it to the cottage. Then again, and again, until the barrels are full, or until your shoulders give out. The well is down the lane. Not far. But your boots are thin and the mud is deep. Each step pulls at your feet like it's trying to keep you here forever. You reach the well and begin your work. Lower, splash, haul, pour, repeat. The rhythm is soothing in a way that makes your arms go numb. Others arrive. The cooper's wife, the shepherd's daughter. You exchange small greetings. A nod, a tired smile. No one has energy for conversation. The wind carries enough noise. After the buckets are filled and brought back, your father sends you to the shed. He needs firewood chopped. The pile is low. The axe is dull. Your hands already hurt. You roll your sleeves and begin. The axe thuds into the wood. It doesn't split. You pull it out and try again. The blade bites deeper this time. A small crack forms. Encouragement. Chopping wood in winter is its own punishment. Your fingers sting from the cold. Your shoulders burn. Your breath fogs the air. You fall into a slow, painful rhythm. Split. Stack. Repeat. The splinters dig into your palms. Your arms begin to shake. Still, you go on. Fire keeps the cold at bay. Fire boils water. Fire means soup. No wood, no warmth. No warmth, no comfort. You take a break only when your legs wobble. You lean on the axe handle. Look at your work. A small pile, not enough. But it's a start. You head back toward the house. The path is quieter now. Chickens peck at the frozen ground. A dog barks in the distance. You hear the sound of bells from the church tower. Noon, inside. Your mother is boiling water for washing. Laundry day. The air is filled with the smell of wet wool and lye. She scrubs clothes on a wooden board, her hands red from the cold. She hands you a basket of damp linens and tells you to hang them. You take them to the line outside and begin, one by one. They freeze quickly. The wind snaps them like flags. You rub your hands together and blow on your fingers. Still numb, in the afternoon, your father takes you to repair the fence. A storm last week knocked down 2 sections. The sheep have been getting bold. One of them nearly made it into the garden. You carry posts. He hammers. You hold the rails steady. The hammer echoes through the valley. Each strike sends a jolt up your arm. Your knees begin to ache. The cold creeps in deeper. By late afternoon, your breath comes in short puffs. The sun is already sliding down the sky. Winter days are short. Work is not. You gather the tools, carry them back to the shed, wipe them with an oily rag, hang them on their hooks. Your father checks your work, says nothing, but he nods once. That means well done. Your reward is more work. The goats need checking. You walk to the pen. The goats greet you with impatience. They are always hungry. You toss hay into their trough. Refill their water. One nudges your arm. You pat its head. It bleats. You walk away. Your brother is sweeping the floor when you return. The house smells of stew again. Something with onions. Your mouth waters. Your stomach growls. You wash your hands in a cold bowl of water. Splash your face. Wipe it with a cloth that's seen better years. Dinner is served. Everyone sits. The bench creaks under your combined weight. The stew is thicker tonight. Your mother must have traded for something better. Maybe a bit of dried meat, maybe a bone with some flavor left in it. You eat slowly, gratefully, carefully. After dinner, your father speaks. He rarely does unless he has a reason. Tonight he tells a story, not a long one, just a memory. Something from when he was young. The room listens. Even the children stop fidgeting. The fire crackles. The wind howls outside. You feel safe, tired, full. Your mother knits by candlelight. Your sister mends a tunic. You sit quietly, watching the flames dance in the hearth. Then your father says, it's time. Bed. You spread the blankets on the floor. The straw mattress rustles beneath you. The cold seeps in through the walls. You curl up, pull the blanket close. Close your eyes. Your arms ache. Your legs twitch. Your jaw throbs. But you are warm. And tomorrow, you will do it all again. You wake to the sound of the chickens again. This time, they're louder, closer. One has managed to get inside. It flaps once across the room and lands beside the hearth like it owns the place. Your mother waves a ladle at it. It squawks indignantly and struts back outside. You pull your blanket tighter around you. Your body is stiff. Every joint feels like it needs oiling. Your arms throb from yesterday's wood chopping. Your fingers are curled, slow to uncurl. You flex them one at a time, like waking old friends who have held grudges. You sit up. Your sister is already moving around the room, stirring the fire, laying out bowls. She is younger than you, but somehow always seems more alert. Maybe it's the thrill of responsibility, or maybe it's the fact that she never has to dig fence posts in the frozen ground. Your mother begins her usual tasks. She doesn't speak. She rarely does in the morning. The silence is practical. Each of you knows what must be done. For the women in your family, the work never really stops. Today, your mother is boiling water for laundry again. Not because it's laundry day, because someone was sick during the night, and now the bedding must be cleaned. The fire is stoked, the pot is filled. The ashes are scraped aside and saved for making lye. Your sister slices onions. Her fingers move quickly. The knife is dull but steady. The onions go into the pot. She adds cabbage, a bit of yesterday's stew, a scrap of fat. The pottage lives on. She sets a bowl in front of you. You eat without comment. It's warm, that's enough. Then she hands you a list. Not written. Of course, no one here writes. She tells you what needs gathering. Herbs from the edge of the woods. Wild leeks if you can find them. Maybe some mushrooms, but only the good kind. Not the ones that make Uncle Aldrich dance in his sleep. You nod. You put on your cloak. It smells of smoke and wool. You tie it at your neck and head out. Your sister, meanwhile, turns to the real list. The invisible one that governs her day. First, the washing. Clothes are soaked, scrubbed, beaten, and rinsed over and over. The water is cold. The wind does not help. She wears gloves when she can, but they're threadbare and stiff. Her fingers are red, always red, cracked at the joints. She scrubs anyway. After that, the spinning. Wool must be carded, spun into thread, then twisted and wound. It is slow work, repetitive, but it's her work. The spinning wheel creaks like a tired old song. Her foot pushes the pedal. Her hands guide the fibers. The yarn gathers slowly, very slowly. Next, the sewing. Clothes tear easily in this life. There is no pile of spares. You mend what you wear. She sits by the window, patching her brother's tunic. The tears along the sleeve. She stitches carefully, not perfectly, just well enough. Then the cooking. The stew must be stirred. The fire must be fed. Bread must be checked. If the dough rose, if the coals are right, if someone remembered to grind the flour last week, the baby cries. She picks him up, bounces him once on her hip, hums a tune that barely has melody but somehow calms him anyway. She stirs the pot with her free hand. Later, she fetches water, carries 2 buckets from the well. She spills some, curses softly. No one hears. Then she scrubs the floor, packs the bread, braids her hair, helps patch the roof with her father, then back inside to prepare supper. She is 14, and this is every day. Historians sometimes argue whether medieval women worked harder than men. Some say they shared the load. Others argue women worked longer hours and more varied roles. In your house, it is not a debate. It is obvious. You return before dusk. Your hands are scraped from gathering. Your boots are wet. You set down the herbs. Your sister looks up, offers a nod, and goes back to stirring. Dinner is served. Everyone eats. No one talks. Not because you are unhappy, but because silence is warmth. A moment of peace. Afterwards, your sister brushes out her hair. It's long and tangled. She pulls the comb slowly through it. Her hands are tired. Her eyes are heavy. She yawns without covering her mouth. She asks your mother quietly about the festival. Will there be one this year? Will there be music? Will Will there be sweets? Your mother shrugs. Maybe. Your sister smiles anyway. That's enough for now. You crawl into your bed of straw and wool. She lies beside the baby, who's finally quiet. The fire crackles. The air is still. The stars shine faintly through the cracks in the roof. You fall asleep to the sound. You are 5 years old when you first hold a rake. It is taller than you, heavier than expected, and rough in your small hands. Your father places it in front of you with a nod. No ceremony, no encouragement, just the quiet expectation that you are old enough now. Your task is to gather leaves. Simple enough, you drag the rake across the ground, leaves piling in clumsy heaps. It takes you half an hour to do what your older brother does in 10 minutes. But no one complains. No one congratulates you either. This is just the beginning. At 6, you carry water. Not the big buckets yet, just the smaller ones. 2 trips a day, 3 if needed. Your arms tremble. Your shoulders ache. But the water must come. No one else has time. You learn to balance, to breathe through the pain, to keep walking. At 7, you tend the goats. You learn their names, their moods, which one likes to kick, which one wanders. You chase them through the mud, pull them away from the fence. You lose your temper. You cry. Your father shakes his head, then hands you a bit of bread and tells you to try again. At 8, you are given a knife, not sharp, but real. You help your mother peel turnips, chop herbs, slice rough bread. She watches your hands closely, corrects your grip. You cut yourself once, just a scratch. It bleeds anyway. You hide your hand under the table. She sees it, says nothing. At 9, you go to the field, not just for gathering, for digging. You plant seeds, pull weeds. Your knees sink into the earth. The soil clings to your fingers. You learn to love the smell of it, to understand its moods. Dry, rich, cracked, damp. You learn to speak its language without words. By 10, you are expected to work as the others do. No more small jobs. You rise with the sun. You carry, you dig, you fetch, you haul, you sweep, you scrape. You obey. Your back begins to round. Your feet harden. You walk more quietly. You speak less. The other children in the village are just like you, busy, tired, covered in scratches and dust. You play only when the adults are not looking, hide and seek between chores. A stick for a sword, a hoop of wood for a game. Laughter, sharp and quick, before someone calls you back. You are allowed to rest only when someone older is watching the fire or the animals or the sky. Even rest is work here. You learn to sit without falling asleep, to eat without dropping crumbs, to listen while your hands keep moving. Your younger cousin cries because his boots are too tight. He is 4. Your aunt tells him to be grateful he has boots at all. You do not argue. You remember the winter your toes turned blue? You remember the sting, the swelling, the silence. Your chores expand as you grow. You feed the chickens. You gather eggs when they exist. You learn how to tell a good one from a bad one by holding it to the sun. You muck out the stalls. You wash the pots. You help stitch torn sleeves with clumsy fingers. You hear stories about towns where children go to school, sit on benches, read books. You cannot imagine it. You picture a place where the hands of children are clean, where their knees are not always bruised, where they speak without whispering. Historians still question how widespread formal education was for children in medieval villages. Some records speak of church schools for boys. Others suggest most children, especially girls, never saw a scroll. In your world, learning means watching, repeating, surviving. Sometimes you sneak into the chapel and look at the painted walls. You stare at the saints, their faces calm, their hands lifted in peace. You wonder if they ever had to carry wood until their palms bled. You are 12 when you are told to watch your sister's child. She is too loud. Unsteady. You hold her hand and feel her tug toward the fire. You pull her back. You tell her no. She cries. You panic. You rock her gently. She falls asleep against your chest. You sit there for an hour, still, silent. Your back hurts, but you do not move. Your sister thanks you. She gives you a plum from her basket. You have not tasted one since summer. You eat it slowly. It is sweet, almost too sweet. At night, you lie beside your brothers on a bed of old straw. You listen to the fire crackle. You count the breaths in the room. You think of nothing and everything. Your body hums with ache. Your mind drifts. This is your childhood. Short, quiet, full, and tomorrow it continues. By the time supper comes, your stomach is already folding in on itself. The day has been long. Your arms feel like sacks of grain. Your shoulders burn. Even your fingers ache. And yet your appetite is louder than all of that. Inside, the house smells of boiled onion and something vaguely earthy. You step into the warmth, into the heavy scent of wood smoke and stew. The pot hangs over the fire again. It has been there most of the day, bubbling quietly, gathering whatever scraps your family could find. You sit on the bench. Your legs tremble slightly as they fold beneath you. Your mother ladles the food into bowls, one for each of you. You take yours with both hands. It is warm. Steam curls into the air. You glance inside. Tonight's meal is a thick mixture, pottage as usual. But today it includes a few chunks of carrot, maybe even a bit of dried meat. Someone has been saving, or someone traded well. You do not ask, you simply eat. Each bite is slow, careful, hot. You let the warmth rest on your tongue before swallowing. It spreads through your chest like a blanket. You forget the ache in your back. You forget the sting in your palms. You focus only on chewing, swallowing, breathing. The bread is harder today. You soak it in the stew to soften it. It still crunches like bark, but you chew through it. Your jaw protests. Your bad tooth twinges. You chew on the other side. Your sister eats in silence. She sits beside your mother. They share glances, small nods. They do not speak, but you can tell they are communicating. Your brother eats quickly. Always quickly. He licks his bowl clean, sets it down, waits to see if anyone leaves leftovers. They do not, once the bowls are empty. You scrape yours with your spoon. One last bit. You suck the edge of the bread crust. It tastes of salt and smoke. Your mother collects the bowls. She sets them aside for washing. That will come later. For now, she wipes the table with a damp rag. The wood creaks under her hand. You lean back against the wall. Close your eyes. You could fall asleep right here. Upright, still in your boots. But then someone says the word that steals whatever peace you were beginning to feel. Lice. Your little cousin has been scratching her head all day. She is 5, blonde, barefoot, and now she is scratching like a hound. Your aunt grabs her gently, checks her scalp, clicks her tongue. Your mother nods. She disappears into the corner and returns with a small comb and a bowl of vinegar. The ritual begins. She sits your cousin down, begins to comb. Slowly, carefully, the child winces, squirms, complains, but she stays still. The comb is metal, the teeth close together. It catches everything. Fleas, lice, their eggs. The sound it makes as it drags through the hair is soft but constant, like the whisper of wind through dry leaves. You remember sitting there once, being the one with the itchy scalp. The vinegar stung your eyes. The comb tugged at your hair. Your scalp was red for days, but the itching stopped. Eventually, lice are a part of life. Everyone has them. Even the Lord's family. They simply hide it better. Wash more often. Use oils and perfumes. But no one escapes entirely. You scratch your neck now, just in case you feel something. Or imagine you do. Historians agree that lice were among the most persistent companions of medieval life. Delousing was a daily or weekly event in many homes. Some families used ashes. Others used vinegar. Some shaved their heads, but most simply endured. Your cousin cries a little, then settles. Your sister offers her a bit of honey on a cloth. A treat, a distraction. She chews on it while your mother finishes the last pass of the comb. The bowl is full of floating shapes. Tiny, pale. You look away. Afterwards, your cousin curls up in a blanket. She falls asleep quickly. Exhausted from the combing or from the day, you sit there still, watching the fire, feeling its heat on your skin. Then comes the evening drink. Not wine, not ale, just warm water with a few leaves steeped in it. A kind of tea, bitter, but soothing. You sip it slowly. Let it roll over your tongue. Your father says a few words, not a prayer, just a reminder. The weather will change soon. The frost will come. The roof must be patched. The animals must be moved. You nod. You will help? Your mother sets out the sleeping mats. The straw smells fresh. Someone replaced it last week. You spread your blanket. You lie down beside your brother. He snores already. The fire dims. The last log crackles. The room fades into quiet. You close your eyes. Your stomach is no longer empty. Morning finds you in a haze of warmth and smoke. The fire has burned low during the night. Only a few embers remain, glowing like sleepy eyes beneath a thin layer of ash. You roll over and stretch. Your joints protest. Your neck cracks. Your nose is cold. The blanket smells of wool, sweat, and smoke. It is not a pleasant scent, but it is familiar. You push it aside and sit up. Your hair is stuck to your forehead. Your mouth tastes like old bread. You stand slowly. Your legs are stiff. Your back is sore. But you are alive. And that is enough. You move toward the door and push it open. The air rushes in, damp, Cold, sharp. You inhale and cough. The smell outside is worse than usual. Heavier, thicker. You step out and look around. The street is wet. Mud pools in the low spots. Chickens peck at something you hope is a root. A dog trots by with a bone in its mouth. You do not ask where it came from. You take a few steps forward. Stop. Sniff again. There it is. That smell. Sour, rotting, familiar. Waste. You look down the road. A man is dumping a bucket into the gutter. The contents splash across the stones. It joins a stream already trickling past your feet. Brown, murky, unpleasant. You step back onto the threshold. The gutter is full. Again, there are no sewers in your village. Just channels cut into the road. They carry rainwater, wastewater, everything. The hope is that it flows far enough away to forget. It never does. You walk carefully. You step around puddles. You avoid the slick places. You breathe through your mouth. The village smells like life, but not the clean kind. The kind that rots, that seeps, that lingers in cloth and under fingernails. You reach the well and draw water. The rope squeaks. The bucket sloshes. You lift it carefully. You know the weight by heart. You carry it back slowly, past the tanner's shed, past the pigsty. Each corner has its own scent. Each house its own flavor of smoke. Inside, your mother is setting bowls on the table. She adds a handful of herbs to the pot. The smell helps a little. You wash your hands. The water is cold. Your fingers sting, but you scrub dirt from your nails, mud from your wrists. You eat in silence. Later, you go to the stream to wash the clothes. You carry the basket on your hip. The path is slippery. You do not fall. At the stream, others are already there. Women, children, all kneeling, all scrubbing. The rocks are cold, the water colder. You find a spot, dip the cloth, rub it against the stone, beat it, rinse it. Repeat, over and over. The water carries everything downstream. Dirt, soap, secrets. You look around. The trees are bare now. Winter is close. You hear someone cough. Deep, wet, persistent. You glance over. An old man sits by the water. His eyes are tired, his skin pale. He coughs again, into his sleeve, then spits. The phlegm is dark. No one says anything. No one moves away. No one moves closer. Later, you hear he died. In the evening, you help your father patch the roofs. You climb onto the rafters. The wind howls. The thatch is thin in places. You tie new bundles, weave them tightly. Your fingers bleed. The rope bites, but the rain must stay out. You climb down as the sun sets. The sky is gray. The clouds are heavy. You can smell the storm coming. You eat quickly. You wipe your mouth with your sleeve. You rinse the bowl. You set it down. Then you clean the floor. You use a broom made of twigs. It sweeps more dust than dirt, but it does something. You gather the crumbs, the ashes, the pieces of straw. You throw them into the fire. They sizzle. Before bed, you check your shoes. The soles are thin. You patch them with a bit of cloth. It will hold for a few more days. Your sister is brushing her hair. Your mother is mending a sleeve. Your brother is already asleep. The candle burns low. You blow it out. Darkness returns. Outside, the street still flows. The village still breathes. You pull the blanket over your head and hope the roof holds. You wake with a tightness in your chest. Not pain exactly. More like weight. Like something has settled there in the night and refuses to move. You cough. Once, twice. The sound rattles in your throat. You sit up slowly. Rub your chest. Try to clear your throat. Nothing changes. You drink a few sips of water. It helps. A little. Not enough. Your mother glances at you but says nothing. She has seen this before. You have seen it too. The beginning of something. Maybe a cold. Maybe worse. Still, there is work to be done. You rise. Your legs shake. Your knees pop. You stretch your arms and feel the ache in your shoulders. The wind whistles through the cracks in the door. The fire is already lit. Someone woke before you. You eat a small bowl of pottage. It tastes like boiled roots and old wood. You chew slowly, carefully. You swallow and feel the heat move through your body. It gives you just enough strength to stand. Today, you are meant to help your aunt. She is a healer, or at least the closest thing your village has to one. She collects herbs, mixes salves, whispers prayers over the sick. Some say she knows too much. Others say not enough. You walk with her toward the woods. She carries a basket and a knife. You carry nothing. Your hands are full of worry. She points out plants, tells you their names, what they cure, what they do not. Yarrow for bleeding, mint for stomach, willow bark for fever. You nod. Try to remember. The names slip through your mind like smoke. You stop beside a small stream. She kneels and digs at the base of a tree. Her fingers are quick. She finds a root, sniffs it, nods, places it in the basket. You look up at the sky. Gray again. Always gray. The sun hides more often than not. The light is thin, pale. You walk back slowly, your chest still tight. You cough again. It echoes in your skull. At home, your brother is pale. He sits by the fire, blanket around his shoulders. He shivers. He coughs too. A different sound, harsher, older. Your mother dabs his forehead with a cloth. The steam from the pot curls around his face. He does not look at you. Your aunt prepares a tonic. She mixes water with herbs, adds honey if there is any, pours it into a cup, hands it to him. He sips, coughs again, winces. The room smells of vinegar and smoke. Later, you carry water again. Your arms feel weak, your breath short. You rest halfway, sit on a stone. Let the bucket lean against your leg. You hear someone calling. A neighbor. He needs help. His wife is sick. He does not know what to do. Your aunt gathers her things. You follow. The house is dark. The shutters are closed. The air is heavy. The woman lies on a cot. Her face is damp. Her lips cracked. Her breath shallow. Your aunt kneels beside her, checks her pulse, lifts her eyelid, listens to her chest. She whispers something you cannot hear. She mixes a paste, spreads it on the woman's chest, lights a candle, says a prayer. Historians still debate how effective medieval medicine was. Some treatments worked, some made things worse. Much of it was ritual, habit, hope. You hand your aunt a clean cloth. She wipes the woman's brow. Her hand trembles. On the way back, your aunt says little. She walks slowly. Her shoulders are hunched. She coughs once into her sleeve. At home, your brother sleeps. His skin is pale, his breath loud. Your mother sits beside him. Her eyes are red. She does not look at you. You help prepare supper. Your hands are clumsy. You drop the spoon. You knock over the pot. Your mother does not scold you. The food is bland. You eat little. Your appetite is gone. Your throat aches. That night, you lie awake, listening. Your brother coughs. Then again. Then silence. You wait. The morning feels different. Heavier. You open your eyes slowly. The fire has gone out. The air inside the house is colder than usual. No one moves. No one speaks. You sit up and look across the room. Your brother is still. His blanket has slipped down to his chest. His mouth is slightly open. His eyes are closed, but he does not breathe. Your mother kneels beside him. Her hands rest in her lap. She stares at nothing. The bowl of water sits untouched by her side. The cloth has gone dry. Your father stands near the doorway. He is holding a small bundle of straw, not moving, just standing. No one cries, not yet. You rise slowly, cross the room. Stand beside your mother. She does not look at you. Her face is blank. Her shoulders rise and fall with every breath, but her eyes stay on your brother. You kneel down and reach for his hand. It is cold, cold like stone. Your sister begins to sob, quietly at first, then louder. She presses her face into her hands and rocks forward. The sound fills the room like smoke. Your father steps outside. The door creaks. The cold rushes in. He walks down the path and disappears. You help your mother wash the body. She moves slowly. Her fingers are stiff. She does not speak. You do not either. You wash his face, his neck, his hands. You change his shirt, comb his hair, fold his arms across his chest. Your mother lights a small candle and places it near his head. The others come later, one by one. The neighbors, the healer, the priest. No one lingers. They stand, they nod, they whisper, they leave. The priest returns at sunset. He brings a blanket and a book. He says prayers, Latin words you do not understand. His voice is soft, flat. Your father returns with a cart. He has built a box from old planks. It is rough, crooked. It will do. You carry your brother's body together. Your father holds the shoulders. You hold the feet. Your arms shake. You do not let go. The walk to the churchyard is short, but it feels long. The ground is wet. The hole is shallow. The wind howls through the trees. The priest says more words. He sprinkles earth on the blanket. Your mother places a sprig of rosemary beside him. Your sister holds a candle. The flame flickers, then goes out. You cover the hole with dirt. The sound is soft, then louder, then dull. When it is done, you stand in silence, then walk home. Dinner is quiet. You eat, but do not taste. The bowl is warm, but you are cold. Afterward, your mother folds the clothes. One shirt too many. She sets it aside. Your sister brushes her hair with slow movements. She does not look up. You lie on your mat and stare at the ceiling. The shadows crawl across the beams. The wind whistles through the gaps. You close your eyes, but sleep does not come. The house feels smaller now. The fire does not warm. The silence does not rest. Historians often debate the nature of grief in medieval life. Some suggest that loss was so common it became routine. Others believe the pain never lessened, only quieted with time. In your home, grief sits in every corner. It watches. It waits. You dream that night of a quiet field, of a boy running through tall grass. His laughter echoes, then fades. You wake with tears on your cheeks, and the day begins again. You do not speak much in the days that follow. Neither does anyone else. The house moves through its routines like a millstone, turning slowly, grinding forward. Each task is done without words. Each bowl filled, each blanket folded, each fire lit in silence. Your mother hums sometimes, but not songs with melody, just low tones to keep her hands busy. Your father sharpens tools outside. The rasp of the stone on iron is the only sound for hours. You begin to help the priest more often. He says it is good to keep moving. He tells you the church roof needs mending, the bell rope has frayed, there are candles to trim, floors to sweep, and mice to chase out of the storeroom. You do what he asks, not because you care, because it is something to do. You clean the wooden pews, you scrub the stone floor, you polish the iron candle stands until your arms ache. When the chores are done, you sit in the back pew and stare at the wall where the saints are painted. Their faces are calm, their hands raised in peace. You wonder if they were ever tired, if their backs ever ached like yours. The priest offers a prayer for your brother each morning. He mentions his name with the same solemn tone he uses for all the dead. But when you look at him, you can tell it still weighs heavy on his heart. He does not say so, but you can see it in the way he folds his hands tighter during the blessing, or the way his voice catches on certain words. On Sundays, the church is fuller. Families arrive wrapped in wool. Boots muddy, children sniffling. They fill the pews, they kneel, they chant. The words of the prayers fill the air like smoke. You know them by heart. You speak them with your lips, but your mind drifts. You think of your brother, of the way he used to sit beside you during the service, fidgeting with the hem of his tunic. You remember how he always coughed once, loudly, right before the priest's final blessing. Every time, you almost smile. Almost. After the service, people gather outside. They talk in low voices. They exchange bread and gossip. You stand near the edge of the group, watching. You hear the same old stories. Who is courting whom? Who is late on their tithes? Who stole eggs from the market again? Your aunt whispers that the miller's son is sneaking into the woods at night. She thinks he is meeting a girl. Someone says it is not a girl. It is a spirit, a white one with blue eyes. No one is sure whether to be afraid or impressed. You walk home slowly. The mud sucks at your boots. The sun is weak overhead. The clouds never part this time of year. They just hang there, heavy and unmoving. At home, your mother is boiling water, your sister's mending socks. Your father is asleep in the chair by the hearth. The room feels smaller again. You sit and stare into the fire. The flames twist and curl. The wood pops. The smell is familiar. It clings to your clothes, your hair, your skin. You wonder if there is a way to smell like anything else. You help gather herbs in the afternoon. Your aunt says the season is ending. Soon the ground will freeze and the roots will vanish. You carry the basket and follow her along the edge of the field. She points out the last of the wild thyme. A few sprigs of sage, some moss. She hums as she works, a real tune this time, low and soft. You ask her about spirits. She pauses, asks what kind. You say you do not know. She tells you there are many, the ones that live in the woods, the ones that visit in dreams, the ones that stand behind you in the mirror and whisper secrets. You do not ask more. Historians write often about medieval belief in the unseen. Angels, demons, spirits of the dead. Some say it was fear. Others say it was comfort. In your village, belief is not discussed. It is lived in every corner, in every shadow. That night, your mother places a candle in the window, a small one, just enough to glow. You lie in bed and stare at the ceiling again. The rafters creak, the wind whistles. You pull the blanket higher. You close your eyes and try to pray. The words come slow. The wind has changed. It whistles now in short, sharp bursts through every crack in the wooden walls. The air inside the cottage tastes of damp ash and wool. You wake up before the fire is lit, and your breath fogs the space between you and the blanket. Your nose is cold. Your feet are colder. Outside, the ground is hard. The morning frost covers everything in a pale shimmer. You step carefully across the floorboards, pulling your cloak tight. The chill creeps into your bones like it has fingers. You are used to being cold, but this is a different kind. It stays. Your mother is already awake. She stokes the fire with the last of the kindling. The coals are slow to catch. She blows gently into the ash, and it glows. A flicker, then more. The flame returns, and the room begins to breathe again. You help carry in water from the barrel. It is frozen overnight. Your father breaks the surface with a stick. The sound is sharp, like cracking bone. You fill your pail carefully. Your fingers sting. You do not complain. Today is for washing, not clothes. People, or at least an attempt. You strip to your undershirt and stand near the hearth. Your sister pours a ladle of warm water into a shallow basin. It steams. You step forward slowly. She wrings out a cloth and hands it to you. You wipe your face first, then your arms, your chest, your back. You are not truly clean, just less dirty. There is no soap, only ashes and sand. You rub them into your skin. They scrape a little, but they work. You wash your hair less. You lean forward and your mother pours water over your head. It runs down your back. You gasp. The air bites harder now. You dry quickly. Pull your tunic back on. Sit close to the fire until your teeth stop chattering. Your sister goes next. Then your brother. Then your mother. You take turns like this every few weeks. It is not a ritual. It is survival. You remember once hearing that the noble woman in the next village bathes every week. Some say every day. That she has a room just for it. A copper tub. Soap that smells like flowers. Heated stones. You try to picture it. The water deep and warm, a room that does not leak cold. You cannot imagine what it would be like to feel clean all over, to smell like something other than smoke and soil. Instead, you clean what you can and accept what remains. Hygiene is not a word you have heard, but you know when someone smells worse than usual. You know when someone's hair crawls, when someone scratches too often. These are warnings, not judgments. Historians write that medieval people did not bathe, that they feared water, that they thought it invited illness. Some disagree, point to bathhouses, to records of scented oils and washing days. The truth is somewhere in between. In your village, bathing is not avoided. It is just hard. Water must be carried. Firewood must be gathered. Time must be found. These are luxuries. Sometimes it rains warm in the summer and you run to the stream and dive in. You laugh and splash and feel clean for a day. But now it is winter, and winter does not laugh. After the washing, you help clean the room. The floor is swept. The ashes are collected. The straw is fluffed and spread. The wool blankets are hung near the fire to warm. Your sister takes out the chamber pot. You see her wrinkle her nose. She dumps it behind the shed and rinses it with leftover water. She returns without a word. Later, you walk to the woods to collect kindling. You carry a basket and a small hatchet. You chop fallen limbs into smaller pieces. Stack them, carry them home. Your hands blister. You do not stop. That evening, the fire burns bright. The air smells of onion and wood. You sit on the floor near the hearth. Let the warmth soak into your legs. You stretch your fingers toward the flame and watch the steam rise from your damp sleeves. You scratch your scalp, still itching. Always itching? You think about shaving your head. You think about lice crawling behind your ears. You think about the girl in the next cottage who shaved hers last spring and said she slept better for it. You do not decide. You eat your supper and wipe your hands on your tunic. Your mother sighs and tosses another log onto the fire. Outside, the wind howls again. But for now, the room is warm, and that is all you need. The first real snow arrives in the middle of the night. You wake to a silence so thick it feels like a blanket wrapped around the entire world. No birds, no wind, just the soft hush of white covering everything. You open the door and step outside. Your breath rises in clouds. The village is transformed. The mud is gone. The fields are buried. The rooftops sag with the weight of snow. Footprints vanish almost as soon as they are made. You pull your cloak tighter. Snowflakes catch in your lashes. They melt quickly. You lick one from your lip and taste only cold. Inside, your mother places extra straw around the doors. The cracks in the walls are stuffed with rags. Every blanket is brought out. Every pot is filled. The fire must stay lit now. Always. Someone must watch it. Feed it. Never let it die. You help chop more wood. The axe is heavier in the cold. The logs are harder. Your hands go numb quickly. You blow in your fingers and keep going. Each day begins and ends with smoke. The house smells like burnt oak and boiled roots. You wake coughing. You fall asleep coughing. Your father wraps his feet in old cloth. Your sister layers 2 tunics and a fur-lined cap. You wear your brother's wool trousers over your own and thank him quietly. Food is harder now. The pottage is thinner. Sometimes it is just water and onions. Sometimes it is only water. You chew slowly. Try to make each bite last. You scrape the bowl clean and pretend you are full. The chickens have stopped laying. The goats look thinner. The well takes longer to draw. The ice on the surface must be cracked each morning. You do it with the back of the ladle. Bathing is no longer discussed. Instead, you rub snow on your face when needed. You wipe your hands with old cloth. You air out your clothes by the fire and hope it is enough. Your cousin down the road has fallen ill. He coughs without stopping. His lips are pale. His mother came to borrow herbs. Your aunt gave her time and hope. You wonder if it will help. Your days are filled with chores and breath. You carry water. You carry firewood. You carry silence. Sometimes the priest visits. He brings bread, wine, words. He blesses the doorway and sprinkles salt. He tells you that spring will come again. You nod. You are not sure if you believe him. Historians often speak of the medieval winter as a season of sleep, a time of waiting, of storing, of praying. But here there is no sleep, only cold and hunger and repetition. You spend more time near the hearth. You mend old gloves. You polish tools. You listen to your sister read from a page she found in the church. She does not know all the letters, but she guesses well. At night, you lie beside your brother's empty mat. The space still feels warm. Your mother says his name less often now, but she still lights a candle near the fire. She still leaves space for his bowl. You do not talk about the spring festival anymore. No one is sure if there will be one. The grain is low. The fields are buried. The roads are closed. One day the snow turns to ice, a fine layer that cracks beneath your feet. You slip once and bruise your arm. Your father helps you up and grunts something about slowing down. You do. You walk more carefully. You speak more softly. You eat more slowly. Your movements match the season. Quiet, measured, careful. The nights are longest now. The stars brighter. The dark deeper. You stare into the village has its own way of keeping order. There are no police, no courts like the ones in the stories. There is the reeve, the priest, the lord, and the weight of everyone watching. You learn quickly what lines you must not cross, what words to avoid, what things to do only when no one is looking. When someone steals from the market, the punishment is not quiet. A boy took a string of onions once. His family was behind on their rent. He was caught by the baker. The entire village was called to watch. He stood on a barrel in the center of the square. A sign hung around his neck. It said thief. His hands were tied. The reeve shouted his name and his crime. Then he was whipped 5 times, enough to leave a mark. Not enough to break him. He cried, not loudly, just enough. His mother stood at the edge of the crowd. She said nothing. Afterward, they were given bread. The village is not cruel, only consistent. You remember that day. You were young. You remember the way the whip sounded, the way everyone stared at the ground. Punishment is not always a whip. Sometimes it is the stocks. You have seen people locked into them for hours, their hands and heads trapped. Exposed. Villagers throw old vegetables, not always in anger, sometimes in routine, sometimes in boredom. One man was placed in the stocks for cursing during mass, another for not paying taxes, a woman once for gossiping about the reeve's daughter. She laughed while they locked her in. She did not laugh after the first hour. Some punishments are worse. If someone breaks the law of the church, they may be exiled. They are walked to the edge of the village, given a loaf of bread and a flask of water, then left to the road. No one speaks to them again. You ask once if anyone ever comes back. Your aunt shakes her head. Once a man was caught stealing from the Lord's storehouse. He was taken away. You never saw him again. Some say he was sent to the mines. Some say worse. No one asks. Justice is quick. Public, meant to remind. There are also stranger punishments, old ways, customs that make no sense but are followed anyway. If someone is thought to be lying, they may be tested. One test is the hot iron. A blade is heated in the fire. The accused must carry it a certain distance. If the wound heals clean in 3 days, they are innocent. If not, they are guilty. No one remembers the last time this was done. But everyone still knows the rules. There is also the ducking stool, used for women mostly. Gossip! Witchcraft. Insults. The woman is tied to a chair, lowered into the river. If she floats, she is guilty. If she sinks, she's innocent. No one wants to talk about that one. You once saw a boy have his head shaved for stealing eggs. He walked through the village with bare scalp and red ears. The other children pointed. Some laughed. Some did not. He never stole again. Punishment is not just about pain. It is about memory. About making sure the lesson is not forgotten. Your father says he was whipped once as a boy. He never says why, only that he deserved it. Your mother says nothing when he tells this story, just stirs the pot harder. You help your neighbor fix her fence. She thanks you with a small piece of cheese. You hide it in your cloak and eat it later. Behind the shed, it tastes better than any feast. Your cousin was accused of cheating at dice. The men at the tavern dragged him out by the collar. They took his shoes and left him in the mud. He limped home, swore he was innocent. No one believed him. He stopped playing after that. Historians debate the fairness of medieval justice. Some argue it was brutal. Others say it was simply a system built to match the time. In your village, it is both. You follow the rules. You lower your voice. You do not stare at the reeve's wife. You bow your head in church. You carry your load. You speak only when needed. Because you have seen what happens when you do not. And you do not wish to become the lesson. Market day arrives like a gust of noise and smoke and urgency. It is not a festival, but it feels close. The village square swells with people. Carts creak along the muddy lanes. Horses stomp. Chickens squawk. Voices rise and tumble over each other like stones in a stream. You walk behind your mother carrying a basket. She walks with purpose. Her eyes scan the stalls. Her mouth presses into a line. She has one goal: to trade well. The baker has fresh loaves today. He sets them out in rows that steam in the cold air. Crusts golden, split with heat. He knows the smell draws people in. He leans on the counter with a smirk. Your mother nods to him and holds out her goods. A bundle of herbs, 2 strips of linen. The baker considers. He lifts a loaf, weighs it. He sniffs the herbs and checks the stitching on the linen. After a pause, he agrees. You place the loaf carefully in your basket. At the next stall, an old woman sells candles, beeswax and tallow. The smell is thick. You like it? Sweet and sharp. She offers 2 for a strip of leather. Your mother declines. You move on. The market is full of sounds. Sellers calling, children shouting, a lute playing somewhere in the crowd. Someone drops a sack of onions. They roll like marbles. People laugh. Someone slips. No one is hurt. You pass a man selling salted fish, another with dried apples. A boy waves feathers tied to a stick. He says they keep away evil. No one believes him, but a few still buy it. You stop to admire a set of carved spoons. The wood is dark and smooth. The man who made them says he cut it from a tree struck by lightning. He says this makes the spoons lucky. Your mother laughs. You keep walking. The priest stands near the well speaking to a group of farmers. He gestures toward the sky. They nod slowly. You hear him mention rain and sin and the cost of blessings. At a cloth stall, your sister finds a strip of blue wool. She touches it gently, then steps back. Too expensive. You do not ask. Near the edge of the square, a group gathers around a storyteller. He stands on a crate. His voice rises above the clatter. He tells of a knight who fought a dragon, of a maiden who tricked a king, of a fox that danced with the moon. His words are like fire in winter. Bright, strange, impossible. You stop and listen, just for a moment, just long enough to forget the weight of the basket. Your mother tugs your sleeve and you move on. You pass the tavern. The door is open. Laughter spills out. The smell of ale and stew and bodies hits your nose like a wave. 2 men argue about a price. One slams a jug on the table. The other curses. The tavern keeper leans against the wall, arms crossed, watching. You keep your eyes down. Your mother trades the last of the herbs for a pouch of salt. The man weighs it twice, nods. The deal is done. You begin the walk home. The basket is heavier now. Bread, salt, a small wedge of cheese. Your sister carries a twist of dried fruit, a gift from a kind neighbor. You pass others on the way back. Faces familiar, expressions tired. But there is something lighter in their steps. Market day brings more than food. It brings voices, stories, news. At home, your father slices the bread with care. Your mother places the cheese on a clean cloth. The salt is poured into a small jar. Your sister sets the fruit aside for the next feast day. You eat slowly. The bread is soft. The cheese sharp. The salt reminds you how rare flavor can be. After supper, you sit by the fire. Your sister retells the story of the dancing fox. She adds her own ending. The fox steals a crown and vanishes into the woods. You all laugh. Historians often write about the importance of markets in medieval life, not just for trade, but for connection. They were the heart of a village, a stage, a court, a school, a theater. In your village, the market is one of the few places where the world feels wide, where strangers pass through, where dreams are sold beside onions. You watch the fire. You reach the tavern door with boots wet from the melting snow and hands stiff from carrying kindling. It is just after sundown and already the square outside is quiet. But here, behind this crooked wooden door with iron hinges rusted at the edges, the village still hums. You push the door open and step inside. The heat hits you first, then the noise, then the smell. It is not a pleasant smell. It is a blend of smoke, spilled ale, damp wool, meat stew, sweat, and something faintly animal. But it is familiar. It wraps around you like an old coat. The room is low and wide. The beams overhead are black with soot. A fire blazes in the stone hearth. Tables lean in every direction. Benches sag. A dog sleeps under one of them, twitching in its dreams. You find a seat at a long table near the wall. The wood is sticky. You do not ask why. Someone nods at you. You nod back. A man with a red face slams his mug on the table and yells for more. The tavern keeper, a wide woman with sleeves rolled past her elbows, glares at him, then pours. A girl about your age moves between tables with a tray. She steps around a spilled bucket like she's done it 100 times. She has. She reaches your table and asks if you want the stew. You nod. The stew arrives in a wooden bowl. It is thick, hot, salty. You do not ask what is in it. You eat. Across the room, two men argue about the price of sheep. One swears by his mother's grave. The other laughs and slaps the table. A coin rolls across the floor. A boy with a lute sits on a stool near the hearth. He strums without urgency. The tune is simple. It does not rise above the din, but it weaves through it like thread. Your neighbor sits beside you and tells a story about a fox with human eyes. You know the story. You have heard 3 versions. You listen anyway. A man sings near the bar, loud and off-key. No one stops him. A woman tosses a crust of bread at his head. He bows. The tavern keeper calls out that no one gets more drink without more coin. Someone groans. Someone laughs. Someone pays. The room is alive. Not in the way of festivals, not in the way of markets, but in the way of warmth, of bodies crammed together for no reason other than to forget the cold for a while. You lean back and watch the room. A farmer chews on a toothpick made from straw. A shoemaker rubs his feet under the table. A shepherd snores with his head on the windowsill. You sip your ale. It is warm, cloudy. It tastes like wet grain and old wood, but it is better than water. The girl returns to clear your bowl. She says nothing. You thank her anyway. Someone starts a game of dice. You hear the clatter on wood. A groan. A cheer. Coins exchange hands, then disappear. You are asked if you want to join. You shake your head. You keep your last coin for bread. Later, the lute player sings a song about a sailor who turned into a fish. You have no idea what it means. No one does. But the chorus is easy. You join in. The room sways with the music. With the heat. With the soft crash of mugs and voices. The dog wakes, growls, then curls back up. The door opens. Cold rushes in. Heads turn. A stranger stands in the doorway. Tall, hooded. He walks in without a word. The keeper eyes him. He nods. She nods back. He takes a seat, orders ale, drinks alone. Whispers begin. You hear someone say he came from the east. Someone says he killed a man. Someone says he's a lost priest. You stare at your mug, then the fire, then nothing. Hours pass. You rise. Your legs ache. Your eyes burn. You step outside. The air is sharp. Stars blink through the clouds. Your breath rises like smoke. You walk home through snow and silence. Past fences. Past the well. Past a cat staring into nothing. Inside your house, the fire is low. Your mother dozes in a chair. Your sister snores softly. You place your boots near the hearth. Pull your blanket over your shoulders. You close your eyes and dream of the fish sailor, the fox, and the stranger who said nothing at all. The night was long, but not restful. Your dreams were busy, full of muddled stories, flickering firelight, and a song that would not end. You wake before the sun, tangled in your blanket, sweat cooling on your neck. The coals in the hearth are barely glowing. You rise slowly. Everything hurts a little. Your back, your hips, your knees. You stretch with care, then step outside into the icy dark. The snow crunches beneath your feet. The sky above is still black. A few stars cling to their corners. Smoke curls from the neighbors' roofs. You breathe in deep and the cold stings your lungs. You feed the chickens first. They complain as always, pecking at your boots. You scatter a handful of grain and step back. They cluck and settle. Inside! Your mother is already boiling water. She moves like she never truly slept. Her hair is tied in a quick knot. Her sleeves are already rolled. You help her stir the pot. Your sister wakes and sets the table. She hums a soft tune. Her eyes are still half closed. Her breath puffs in the cold kitchen air. You eat your breakfast in silence. It is hot and plain and fills your stomach just enough. Your father speaks then, says the snow will melt soon, that the fields will need turning, that the tools will need mending. His voice is rough from sleep and smoke. You nod. Then comes your least favorite chore, emptying the chamber pot. You lift it with both hands, carry it out the back door, walk carefully on the frozen ground. You dump it behind the shed where the ground is already dark with frost and filth. You rinse it with leftover water. Your fingers go numb. You do not look too closely. You do not think too hard. Back inside, your sister hands you a cloth. She wants you to help clean the windows. You nod, take the cloth, climb the stool, rub the glass until you can see the street. The village is waking. A dog trots past with something in its mouth. Two children throw snow at each other. A cart creaks in the distance. Your mother sends you to fetch flour from the mill. You pull your cloak around you and set off. The road is slush now, gray and thick. Your boots sink. The wind cuts across the fields. You press on. At the mill, the air smells of grain and damp stone. The miller nods at you, hands you a sack of flour. You carry it home on your shoulder. Your muscles ache, but you do not stop. By midday, the sun peeks through the clouds. The village shines briefly. Roofs drip. Icicles fall. Water runs in the gutters. You change into dry clothes. Hang your cloak by the fire. You eat a small lunch. Then help mend a broken stool. The leg wobbles. You fetch the knife and the twine. Your father nods as you work. Later, you tend the goats. Their breath clouds the air. You brush their coats. Check their hooves. They nuzzle your hands and tug at your belt. You milk one. Slowly, carefully. The pail fills one drop at a time. You wash your hands and return to the kitchen. Your sister is kneading dough. Your mother slices onions. You take the broom and sweep the floor. The day passes this way, moment to moment, task to task. By evening, the stew smells richer than usual. Your mother saved a bone. The broth is thick and warm. You eat slowly. Let the heat settle into your chest. After dinner, your father tells a story, just a short one, about a fox that tricked a hunter. You laugh softly. Your sister smiles. Your mother leans back and closes her eyes. You crawl into bed without a word. The room is quiet. The fire is low. The walls creak with wind. You lie still and listen. To the house. You wake for the last time in the story with a sense of something finishing. There is no alarm, no rooster crowing today, just a gradual return to the world. The sky outside is soft, a pale gray that hints at the coming of spring. You sit up slowly, listening to the sounds of the house. The fire still smolders in the hearth. Someone has kept it alive. The pot is already warm. Your sister stirs it gently, not rushing. Your mother brushes a rug by the door. Your father's not inside. He must be at the shed, sharpening something. You stretch. Your muscles ache, but the pain feels familiar now. Like an old friend, you rise, wrap your cloak around your shoulders, and step outside one last time. The ground is softer today. The snow is fading. Patches of brown earth peek through the white. A bird sings nearby, just one note at a time. You close your eyes and breathe it in. You walk to the edge of the field. The soil is still frozen underneath, but the surface is loosening. You kneel down and touch it. Cold, but not dead. Just sleeping? Back at the cottage, your sister pours you a bowl of stew. You eat slowly, savoring every bite. Your father returns and nods at you, a nod that says things are not easy, but they are steady. After the meal, you help gather kindling. Patch a hole in the roof. Feed the chickens, draw water, sweep the floor. You do each task with quiet care, knowing that each is part of something larger than yourself. In the evening, your mother lights a single candle and places it near the window, a quiet signal to the darkness. You sit near the fire and listen to your father hum an old tune. No one speaks, no one needs to. You lie down on your mat. Your sister hums now too, echoing your father. The flames in the hearth flicker, casting soft shadows on the walls. You close your eyes, warmed by more than the fire. The straw beneath you shifts gently as you settle in. The blanket is heavy, but welcome. You pull it to your chin and feel your breath slow. Your thoughts soften. You think of the market, of the tavern, of the dancing fox, of the stew, of the bread and the salt, of your brother's laugh, of your mother's hands, of the snow melting, of the soil waking. And slowly, everything begins to fade. Your mind drifts like smoke. The world becomes quiet, and your story falls asleep. Let yourself sink a little deeper now. The cottage is warm. The fire burns low but steady. Outside, the wind has softened. It rustles the trees gently, like a lullaby without words. You are no longer holding the weight of the day. The tools are put away. The dishes are clean. The beds are made. There's nothing left to carry. Not right now. The air in the room feels heavy with rest. Each breath draws in comfort, and each exhale lets go of worry. You shift beneath your blanket and find just the right place for your hands, for your feet, for your thoughts to settle. The straw mattress creaks quietly, like it is whispering its own goodnight. The glow of the last ember reflects softly on the wall. The candle flickers, then stills. And you let go. You let go of the cold. You let go of the hunger. You let go of the ache in your shoulders, the dirt beneath your nails, the tightness in your chest. You are safe now. The sky is dark above the village. but not unfriendly, just quiet, just distant. The stars blink in their own rhythm. Watching over you, you hear the breath of your sister beside you. The fire crackles once, then settles. You feel the rhythm of sleep take hold. Soft, slow, full of kindness. The story has ended, but the dream continues.